Student friends, most welcome to the today's extra lecture. As it was announced, to continue the extra lectures, apart from the lectures of Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, today also we are conducting the additional lecture for you. You are again requested to watch and study these. These lectures will be continued every day till the completion of this particular topic. Further announcement will be made later. Student friends, in yesterday's lecture, we studied the general block diagram of electronic communication system. We are extending the same, or we can say we are continuing the same to proceed with the topic of electronic communication, and that is today we are going to consider the article known as types of electronic communication. So as far as types of electronic communication is being considered, basically there are two types of electronic communication. One is analog communication and second one is the digital communication. We are going to discuss both the type of communication one after the another. Student friends, analog communication means it is the process of electronic communication in which the information is carried away in the form of analog signal. Then what do you mean by analog signal? The signal that varies continuously with the time is known as analog signal. Maybe it is in the form of current or maybe it is in the form of voltage. It is the replica of the information to be carried, and that varies continuously with the time. That signal we can call it as it is the analog signal. And the electronic communication system that propagates the information in the form of continuous varying signal as either current or voltage from transmitter toward the receiver or even up to the destination, then that is called as the analog communication. But in case of digital communication, so as continuous varying signal in the form of voltage or current, it is converted into group of binary digits, group of binary bits, and the collection of these particular binary bits forms the word, forms the data, forms the digital signal. And if the electronic communication system carries the information in the form of discrete aspect, in the form of group of bits, in the form of combination of 1 and 0 up to the destination, then that type of electronic communication system we can call as a digital communication system. Friends, if you are using the digital communication system, one should utilize the process of encoding and decoding. But as far as analog communication is there, encoding and decoding is not necessary. Friends, we are studying both the types of communication system in details. Today, we are simply going to study the analog communication system. Dear students, you are remembering the yesterday's block diagram, general block diagram. That block diagram is again belongs to representative aspect of analog communication system. And that's why same block diagram is represented here as a representative aspect of the analog communication. Thus we can say block diagrammatically the general block diagram of electronic communication and the analog communication seems to be analogous. That means you have to explain the same thing whatever we have explained when we studied the general block diagram of electronic communication. When we are describing the analog communication system. With that particular aspect, again we are going to repeat the same aspect as far as study of analog communication is being considered. Thus we can say the analog communication system consists of the source of information. Again, the source of information, it is a physical quantity. For example, temperature, force, pressure, sound signal, acoustic sound signal, picture information, all these are the sources of information. Expressions, views, opinions, all also the sources of information which are originating from the person. That source of information is converted into electric signal, and this electric signal is continuously varying with time. This electric signal is in the form of either voltage or current. This current and voltage is varying continuously with the time, meaning thereby as information changes from the source, naturally the variation in voltage and variation in current continuously that takes place. And this is what you can call it as it is the analog signal. For example, if suppose source of information is acoustic sound signal, when this acoustic sound signal is allowed to incident on the mic, that is going to be used as a transducer, mic converts acoustic sound signal into its corresponding electric signal, and this electric signal is known as analog signal, and this electric signal is carried away from transmitter towards the receiver. So that's why this system we can call it as it is the analog communication system. So generated electrical signal, it is given to the transmitter. Within the transmitter, analog signal is processed. As the definition of electronic communication is there, it is an art, it is a skill, it is an act, it is a method of sending, that is a transmitting, processing and receiving the signal from transmitter towards the receiver through the certain channel. By that particular definition, we can say that in a transmitter, the signal is processed, meaning thereby The generated analog signal is amplified by the several stages of amplifier. Then it is modulated to convert the low frequency signal into high frequency signal by combining with the carrier waves, and then its power level is amplified by the power amplifier. Finally, the high frequency radio frequency signal is given to the antenna connected to the transmitter. As usual, which was studied in the general block diagram, this transmitter converts the radio frequency signal into the electromagnetic radiation which are escaped in a space. The space is going to act as a channel. Friend, this channel may be a wired channel or it is a wireless channel. If it is wired channel, it may be optical fiber channel, it may be coaxial cable, it may be simple cable. And if it is a space, then micro radiations will carry the information through the different paths of propagation in a space by suffering with the several difficulties in the atmosphere. So that's what we can call it as it is a channel. During the propagation of the signal through the channel, some unwanted signal may likely to be added into the wanted signal to be carried away, and that is known as the noise. Noise is an unwanted signal, but we can't reduce it. If it is added in the channel along with the noise, it is propagated and reaches to the receiver. In receiver, the signal is again amplified. It is detected through receiving antenna. It is demodulated, means carrier wave is separated from the original signal. Noise level is made to be reduced, and simply original information in the electric signal form is extracted. This extracted original electrical signal is given to the destination, and destination does the job of storing that electrical signal in the form of original information. Such a type of the communication system, we can call it as it is the analog communication system. Suppose when we take again an example of acoustic sound signal, acoustic sound signal which is obtained from the source of sound, it is incident on the mic, converted into the electrical signal. It is processed in the transmitter. Analog signal passes through the space or through the wire, given to the receiver. It is demodulated, and finally it is given to the speaker. Speaker converts the electrical audio signal back into the sound signal. Thus, the source of information is acoustic sound signal, and also the signal arrived at the destination place is again the sound signal. This is one of the example which I have quoted that represents how the analog signal communication that takes place from transmitting end towards the receiving end. Friends, as the aim of this particular first topic is to prepare the base of electronic communication, just to make you to understand the meaning of electronic communication and its types. And friends, today we have just introduced the meaning of analog communication. Details regarding how modulation that takes place, what are the types of modulations, how it is effective, then what is the demodulation, what is the receiver, how signals are separated, what is the transmitting antenna, what is the receiving antenna, what are the waves those are responsible to carry the signal through the channel, All these aspects we are going to study in forthcoming lectures. Dear students, this is what you have to remember as a analog communication. The second type of communication is digital communication. Friends, we are going to discuss the digital communication obviously in the tomorrow's lecture. Today we will stop here only. If you got any queries, any problem, any difficulties, you may discuss with me on my phone number with mail ID on WhatsApp group. You are most welcome to discuss with your queries. Student friends, we are continuing with the same aspect for few more lectures. Don't recognize that once the topic is begin, we are going to complete the same. Today we'll stop. Next time we'll meet with the digital communication.